It started at 2:14 a.m., the kind of hour where the city feels hollowed out, and every sound slices clean. My phone lit up with a number I didn't know, and I almost let it go to voicemail. Then a tiny voice broke through and said, "Mom won't wake up. Am I calling my dad?" And just like that, I was awake in a way caffeine never touches. I'm Ethan Cole. I run a logistics tech company that eats time zones for breakfast. I'm supposed to be the guy who stays rational, who says call 911 and goes back to sleep. But the voice kept talking. "I'm Lily. We live on 18th. Mom's breathing sounds wrong." And I heard my own answer before I knew I'd decided I'm coming. "Keep me on the line." The streets were washed in that late night shine, every light. A little cruel I drove with the kids' courage in my speakers, and when I reached the yellow door that sticks, I knocked and let her quiz me through the wood like we'd planned. "What's my name? Who did you talk to? How old am I?" Then the chains slid, and there she was, hair a mess, clutching a stuffed dog that had been loved into a cloud. Eyes swollen and fierce, and behind her on a sagging couch, her mother lay burning with fever. Breaths shallow, like each one needed convincing. "We need an ambulance," I said, already dialing, and Lily caught my wrist with both hands. "No hospitals. The bills make Mom cry for weeks, and listen. I get it, pride feels safer than debt. Shame is its own kind of invoice." I tucked the phone away, lifted. Her mom felt how light she was, told Lily to grab the purse. "We're going to Northwestern. You sit up front and tell me how to get there faster." ER doors, blue scrubs moving like weather oxygen, and IV and sharp, efficient care. And a doctor telling me 6 more hours would have been a different conversation. That this woman had been running on fumes. Dehydrated, worked past the warning lights. Because rent doesn't pause, I looked at Lily and promised the truth. "I could promise she's going to make it. You did everything right." I stayed. I couldn't not. Lily fell asleep on my arm, and when her mom woke to pale morning light, she saw me first and bristled. "Who are you? Where is my daughter?" And I said my name slow, told her the wrong number, told her the only thing that mattered, which was that Lily was okay then. Lily popped up and announced I had carried her mother like a firefighter and promised pancakes for dinner. And Maya, that's her name, looked at the private room, looked at the way nurses hurried when I asked a question, and whispered, "We can't afford this." And I said, "It's handled." And she said, "I don't take charity." And I said, "Then call it a favor to your kid. She saved your life by dialing the wrong Ethan, let me want to be the right one for one night." She didn't thank me, not then. She looked at the ceiling like it had answers and said one word, "Stay." And I dragged the chair closer and said, "Okay," and meant it. 3 days to discharge. 3 days where I brought flowers too bright for the room, and picture books that fit exactly where Lily lectured me on rocks like they were tiny planets. And I told her geodes are just rocks with secret rooms, where Maya had enough breath for short sentences. And in those sentences I heard a spine made of tempered steel, daytime receptionist, nighttime call center, a calendar with more shifts than blank squares, an X2 time zones away, who forgets birthdays like a hobby. And I should say this plainly, I'm good at contingency plans. I asked my security lead to find out if Lily's dad would have picked up if she'd dialed right. The report said, remarried, new number, not much interest in old obligations. And if you think that was overreach, you might be right. You know what I mean. When I carried Maya's bag up the apartment stairs, the daylight showed a home that was small and careful. Mismatched plates, stacked like old friends, bills pretending to be coasters, a second-hand couch that had once been a victory. She said, "You don't have to stay, you've done enough. I don't want to owe you." And I told her it's not a ledger. "And anyway, your daughter has me under contract for pancakes for dinner." Obviously, because breakfast for dinner feels like you got away with something. So I cooked the only thing I can cook without calling the fire department. And we laughed, and she winced, and we laughed again. And for a minute it felt like we'd hacked the system and found a softer path. Then my world called in its bill. Seoul wanted an apology in person. Berlin wanted a handshake. I said it'll just be a week, and she nodded, like she had practiced that nod since she was 19. And I made the mistake of telling her I'd located her ex's new number, because in my life, information is a gift. In hers, it sounded like a trespass. You investigated me, she said, calm and cold. I'm not a merger. Ethan and I deserved that, I said. I'm sorry, and she set the apology down very gently, like it was a glass of water she didn't ask for, and said, safe flight. I sent a Hello Kitty dollhouse from Tokyo, because cute can carry what words can't pay the hospital balance quietly, because chains like that steal years. Didn't text, because I couldn't tell if I was helping or proving her right. Then she texted thank you, and I finally asked, how are you feeling? And we found a middle. Video dinners, where Lily held rocks up to the camera, and I did my best to tell peridot from not peridot calls where the air felt easier on both ends. And when the money conversation crept in, I tried to use mine without making noise. I told HR to widen their net for remote support hires, and got out of the way. She applied. She aced it. She got the offer because she's good, not because I'm rich. And I bit down on I told you so and said the only thing that mattered. You earned every inch. Then the twist. Berlin, 3 a.m. A Chicago number. I didn't know a voice that tried to sound smooth and landed on strained Derek Reed. Lily's father, we should talk like gentlemen. He laid out his debts like they were bad weather and asked for a clean round number, 100,000. For Lily's sake, of course. And when I said no, he brought out the leverage. Funny how your new hire at Swiftline has a little record from when she was 19, shoplifting county time. That'd look messy if someone wanted it to, and yeah, that happened. I booked the first flight home and stared at the dark until the plane turned east. Maya's apartment felt smaller in winter, like the walls leaned in to listen. She said I should have told you I made a stupid choice at 19. And I paid for it. Record sealed, but real, you should know, and I told her. I knew that I'd pulled a report early when life was moving too fast, that my instinct is to protect what I care about, even when it looks like control from the outside. And she said, you don't get to make me a project. You don't get to fix me, to feel useful, and before we could make that fight worse, her phone lit up and Derek. She put it on speaker, and he tried to play the tune he always plays. You want what's best for Lily, prove it, open your wallet. And I said, proving it looks like you showing up when your kid calls, proving it looks like you not using a child as a crowbar. The answer is no, and Maya voice, steady as a plumb line, told him the truth. He couldn't spend. You don't get to threaten me with my past. You don't get to use Lily to squeeze money. We're done. And he spit out the line. Desperate men spit. You'll regret this, then hung up. The knock came an hour later, firm official, 2 officers at the door, asking to confirm Lily's whereabouts, because Derek had been arrested after a poker game turned stupid, and he tried to drag Maya into the mess by naming her as the weekend contact. And for the next few hours, I did what I'm actually good at. Calls to the lawyer who knows where the gears are, custody papers, text logs, the simple facts that cut through smoke. Until the sun made a weak attempt at morning, and the apartment decided to keep breathing. My coffee was bad, she drank it kindly, and I said what I meant without a spreadsheet to hide behind. I want more mornings like this, even when the coffee is terrible, more pancake dinners, more of Lily's rock lectures, more of you. And she stared at the steam like it was writing in the air, and said, our lives don't match on paper. And I said they were different, past tense, now they're tangled whether we planned it or not. And we didn't declare anything out loud, because some choices you live into rather than say. Then Lily barreled out in star pajamas and launched at me, like gravity had picked a favorite. You came back, and I said, of course I did. You want the after, here it is in real colors. Derek took a plea he gets supervised visits because Lily deserves a father who shows up, and he gets help because addiction is a complicated kind of drowning. Maya's great at her job, and the promotion had to happen because she made it obvious. The press tried to spin us shiny for a couple weeks and got bored when it looked like we were just stubborn people building something honest. We found a place up by the lake where her chore chart puts my name next to trash and pancakes. And don't be dramatic. Lily's rock collection sits beside my first editions, like they were always supposed to share a shelf, and I still get 2 calls. I just answer the ones that sound like life. So tell me, where's the line between help and control, between protection and invasion? Was Maya right to be furious that I pulled her file even if I paid the bill? Was I right to pay the bill without asking? Do you forgive the worst thing someone did at 19 when everything, since points the other way, you know what I mean? Drop your take in the comments. If this hit close, hit like, subscribe, and tell me your wrong number story. The one where you opened a door that stuck and found out it was the right one all along.